History, a series of facts, or anywhere other than surface level, a trove of exploration. The past often captivates people, through big wars or popular history told as compelling narratives, but a lot of the time, it all remains a story. What captivates me is imagining the people who lived through history, in their own present. That can do standard things like deepen appreciation, but I also think that it is just fun. However you enjoy history, next time you are watching a history video or something, maybe you might feel like trying this detailed two-step system. Step 1. Learn history. Step 2. Feel the history, whatever that means. History can have a broad appeal because it is told in stories, and people like stories. The past is often taught through popular culture, and the stories might be chosen based on how compelling they are to an audience. Most of the focus is placed on the big events, and aside from their top figures, which are usually leaders, the people that were affected in these very real events tend to be left out. And that's what I like to do, imagine the humans throughout history, doing human things, because I care about people in the past and present. They may have all lived, and everything has settled for them already, but each person in history lived in the present. They made things and lost things too, and felt just as everyone does, just that they've already done it. When I read about a siege, my mind goes to imagine what it might have been like for a defending soldier. Pressed into service and dragged through toil, now forced into a hopeless skirmish against soldiers of a similar situation, just to defend the orchestrator. That feeling of hopelessness is inescapable. Maybe the night sky is lit by firelight, denoting chaos and stilled by the destruction. Being the source of light in the dark for everyone before electricity, firelight also feels warming, maybe because it's fire. When looking at a flame, it helps make history feel real, which is the same for a lot of things. Stone does it too. Comparably, seeing history's surviving structures, and especially getting to visit them, is completely immersing. Historical buildings are one of the biggest windows into envisaging the preceding world, and are super mesmerizing, knowing a real person placed the stone brick I'm standing on hundreds of years ago. Legacy-woven landscapes are just as immersing. The surrounding areas of these buildings were lived in and explored too by their inhabitants, so I think they go hand in hand. Any sort of visual representation of history can captivate a viewer, maybe a view of an old castle amidst deep fog, or the stonework of a lived-in street in China at dusk. Movies can be great too, because they're movies, for essentially any setting. They also focus on individual stories a lot, but often in awesome war settings, which I think is what usually captivates people. How could it be any different when war is taught as heroic? War, disease, and famine are big, devastating concentrations of suffering, and are routinely a nadir of a person's life. Conflicts have an overwhelmingly large part in history, and there is an uncountable number of records of the cruelty throughout, and even more that hasn't been written. I cannot help but feel saddened when I hear or think about someone getting hurt. The large scales that are written about can be too overwhelming to think of all at once, so my thoughts tend to focus on smaller scale stories. When I think deeper about it, it feels more present and relevant, and kind of resembles today's suffering in a way, except it is no longer happening. All the lives people lived don't directly impact me, but thinking about them feels important. History is rich and has so much to explore alongside the facts, and imagining that helps me shoulder the weight of history. Everyone who ever lived in the present, and you're part of history too. Anyways, what did you just watch? I don't really know. That is all I have for today. Goodbye.